So as Robin has already said, the brain is constantly weighing up information from both within and outside of the body to determine whether or not it is helpful to activate that protective system and produce pain. Two of the experts in this field, David Butler and Lorimer Moseley, refer to this as the balance between DIMS and SIMS. DIMS standing for danger in me, and SIMS standing for safety in me. We want the SIMS to outweigh the DIMS in order to reduce the perceived threat to the body and gradually produce pain outputs from the brain. This takes time, as we essentially have to retrain the brain to understand that it is in fact safe and needn't protect us constantly by producing pain. Just to reiterate that definition, DIMS are anything that makes you feel threatened, stressed, upset, or unsure. And SIMS could be anything that makes you feel stronger, healthier, more confident, and more sure as a person. So I'm actually going to set you some homework to complete following this webinar. What we would like you to do is work on identifying your own DIMS. What could you do to reduce the impact they are having on you? Eliminate them entirely or turn them into SIMS. Identify your own SIMS. What could you do to intensify their impact, multiply them, or add more of them? Sometimes it's about a whole combination of small DIMS that are resulting in your pain. Or we might have a whole bucket load of SIMS happening in our life, but one tiny DIM can tip us over the edge into pain experiences. The interesting thing about DIMS and SIMS is that they're very individual. One person's DIM might be another person's SIM. DIMS and SIMS can also switch teams, which is great. So we want to get rid of DIMS entirely if we can, or turn them into SIMS. Butler and Moseley have written a great workbook which is designed to help you through the process of understanding your pain, identifying your DIMS and SIMS, and shifting the balance away from danger and overprotection and towards safety, taking you through that gradual journey of retraining the brain to produce less pain over time. There'll be a link at the end of the presentation to where these resources can be found online. One of the interesting things about DIMS and SIMS is that the sources of danger and safety can be really wide-ranging. It isn't always the obvious things that you might associate with arthritis pain, like a swollen, inflamed joint, for example. DIMS and SIMS can hide in hard-to-find places. So what I'd like to do in the next few slides is talk you through some of the categories that you might need to search under in order to identify your own DIMS and SIMS. It might be things that you hear, see, smell, taste, or touch. A DIM might be hearing that a health professional thinks that your pain is all in your head, whereas a SIM might be listening to your favourite song. It can be the things that you do. So a DIM might be waiting to take your pain medication until the pain gets really, really bad. Or a SIM might be doing regular, gentle exercise. It's also about the things that you say. Saying, oh, arthritis is just old age, there's nothing you can do about it, might be a DIM. Whereas a SIM might be motion is lotion for the arthritic joint. It can be about the things that you think and believe. A DIM might be believing that your arthritis is only going to get worse over time, whereas a SIM might be believing that your health professional has it sorted. It can even be about the places that you go. A DIM, for example, might be going to hospital. Now, here's a great example of where individual differences might lie. So some people feel instantly worse when they walk into a hospital, whereas others feel instantly better. Another SIM example here might be being in a hot spa with your best friend. Now, speaking of friends, people in your life can also be DIMs and SIMs. So a DIM might be an out-of-date health professional, whereas a SIM might be having a partner that understands you. And finally, it is also about things that are happening in your body, but hopefully you've already understood that this is only a part of the pain picture. So a DIM here might be a pinchy feeling in the knee, whereas a sim might be a feeling of having soothed muscles after a gentle massage. Now, Linda has already done a great job of talking us through our options for oral sims or medications. What are those other sims that might help you to live well with arthritis and hopefully reduce some of the ongoing pain associated with it? So most of these things fall into the things that I can do category. You can massage in topical creams or gels. So these tend to fall into two categories. Cooling gels can help when you have active inflammation, heat, swelling, or redness. These tend to have anti-inflammatory medicine in them, a small amount of which gets absorbed into the bloodstream. Examples would be Voltaren or Nurofen gel. You can also use heat-promoting creams, particularly for osteoarthritis, and when you have more of that day-to-day achy feeling. Look for active ingredients like capsaicin, which is a derivative of chilies that has been well proven for osteoarthritis pain. Other ingredients might be arnica or menthol. You can also apply heat or cold topically. In general, it helps to keep your joints warm by using extra layers of clothing and good quality woolen socks and gloves. You can also apply heat directly, for example, using a hot water bottle, a wheat bag or heat pads, or a more general source of heat such as a hot shower, bath or sauna. You might even like to try a thermal heat exercise for the hands, where you put on a pair of rubber gloves and soak them in a tub of hot water. Or perhaps a nice relaxing foot soak, so using a tub of warm water with some Epsom salts, for example. Cold also has its place, again, more so for managing acute inflammation, heat, swelling, or redness. Exercise is one of the most integral parts of managing arthritis in the long term. We need 3 different types of exercise to help us manage our arthritis pain. Cardiovascular, so anything that gets the heart pumping. Strengthening exercises, because strong muscles help to support our joints. And mobility exercises that improve function and range of motion in the joint. There are a couple of great sayings to keep in mind when you are exercising with arthritis that might help to make it a more positive experience for you. So, move it or lose it. Motion is lotion. Synovial fluid helps to keep the cartilage healthy. Move and my tissues will get healthier. I can be sore but safe. And apparently, even thinking about exercise can help. So if you visualize an activity that you want to do but currently can't, this actually refreshes this part of your brain. It's also really important to look at our general sense of well-being by looking into a healthy diet and weight loss if needed. Healthy eating contributes to that overall health and well-being, that sense of generally being safe, happy and well, which, as we've already highlighted, does help add to that pain management picture. So long-term weight loss has actually been found to improve symptoms of osteoarthritis in particular. It helps to reduce levels of bodily inflammation. It reduces pressure on our joints, particularly our weight-bearing joints, and it also improves our mobility. So a long-term weight loss of about 10% has been associated with improvements in pain. How do we go about this? It can be easier said than done, but it's really about making small steps towards healthy food choices. If you can, include fish, legumes and pulses, nuts, olive oil, and plenty of fruit and vegetables, especially leafy greens for cartilage health. This type of eating is really what we'd call the Mediterranean style diet. So we want to try and include omega-3 fatty acids in our diet, so oily fish, nuts and avocado, which can have anti-inflammatory properties. And of course, eating less saturated fats, which also helps to reduce inflammation. It's also about spreading the load on your joints. Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs. Breaking a task like vacuuming down into chunks, like just doing several rooms rather than doing the whole house, can make it feel like a much safer activity. We also need to look at our priorities. There's a saying, do it, dump it, or delegate it. Do you actually want to be the one doing the vacuuming now that you have arthritis? Planning also helps. So to continue with the vacuuming example, you would want to plan the vacuuming for a day that you don't have any other heavy tasks on your plate. Work on your posture too. So good posture conserves energy and reduces strain on the joints. Again, for example, vacuuming with a straight back and the handle extended as long as possible can actually help to reduce pain. There are lots of different ways that we can look at protecting our joints. So there's a huge range of different supportive pieces of equipment or devices that can help people with arthritis. It's about finding out what's available to you locally. So some of our main centres do have specific shops that stock these kinds of products. There's also a lot available online, but even some of the bigger department stores now, like Bunnings, The Warehouse, or Stevens, stock arthritis-friendly products. Now, these are more likely to be successful for you, particularly the larger items like walkers, if you've been assessed or fitted by an OT, a physio, a hand therapist, or a podiatrist. Finally, we need to look at mind-based approaches. So relaxation helps to dampen down the whole overprotective response and tap into those natural opioids in the brain, our endorphins. There are various ways that you can do this. It's about finding something that works for you, whether it's yoga, meditation, Tai Chi, deep breathing, or simply getting out and about in nature and getting some fresh air. Sleep is an integral part of good pain management. It gives our minds and our bodies time to recover from the day. If you're not sleeping well, it does become very hard to conquer some of these other pain management practices or get these SIMs into place. Finally, it's about connecting socially. Make sure the people you're connecting with are SIMs, not DIMs. For example, it might be time to stop talking to the classic nosy neighbour. Love and laughter are great forms of medicine. Spend time with friends or loved ones, pat your dog or your cat, or watch a funny movie. It's surprising how much this makes a difference to our pain. So just to reiterate your homework, hopefully that gives you a few ideas or a bit of a start. So happy sim hunting. I hope that you can find lots for your list. So this is just a little summary of everything that's been covered today. Pain is produced by the brain to protect us and overprotect us. Learning about pain is a powerful tool, and there are multiple factors that influence our pain. We might use those nicknames of DIMs and SIMs. Adapting your pain system back to normal can happen, but it's not likely to happen overnight. A holistic approach, which includes exercise, can help to improve health and well-being and reduce pain.